What is your bad point? What's bad in CS at the moment?
Okay, so a bad point in CS for me, I guess this is kind of a personal point for me as well, is it's FaZe. And my point is that we need, in Counter-Strike and esports, we need a competitive FaZe. I feel like we are missing the magic that they are bringing to tournaments with their players and the team. You know, the superstars that we're used to seeing, the storylines. They are the kind of team that's going to make you want to watch the tournaments. They are the kind of team that wants that's gonna get me into the server again, you know, just from enjoying watching Counter-Strike again. And they've had, you know, all the superstars to back up the storyline, like Twists and Rops and Brokey, making these insane moves that, combined with, you know, all the great talent that we have, is gonna really make esports better. I feel like FaZe is such a big contributing factor to why I love esports, and that's why it's a bad point for me that we need a competitive FaZe in esports. And seeing the documentary that they did, I think it was good to get an insight, but it kind of makes you a bit worried too, because I feel like the talks that we got to hear, they didn't feel constructive firsthand. I think that the morale seemed to have deteriorated to a level where it's more frustration coming instead of trying to motivate each other. And I think that always pains me as a having played in teams before, knowing what it feels like, and also having been an in-game leader. It's like when you're at that place where all you can say is, why are we doing this? Why are we playing this bad? Why are we making this decision? It's like a downward spiral. Obviously, they've been on this downward spiral for such a long time, and it makes me a bit sad to see, like, also the insight into the documentary, where you could see the frustration is really hurting them at this moment. And I understand it for sure. I hope that they can do a full reset, you know, mentality-wise. I would like to see maybe someone like Neo take more space in the team. I think FaZe has always been a really tough team to manage, you know, because they had such big superstars, and that's why I think they have a good combination now. They have Robin, who is used to handling these superstar players.
If people don't know, Vale literally was teammates with Robin for many, many years. I was actually wondering, by the way, do you also have a vibe? Because actually FaZe, even the way they recruit players, reminds me of SK Gaming. If people don't know, SK was always about getting the big names, and the idea is performance. If you don't make it, you get another big name, and you just keep going, right? So teams like that tend to be more about things like morale, right, than like specifics of tactics. You've got superstars, right?
Yeah, and maybe that's Robin bringing like the old school vibes too. But I think that Robin is really good with, you know, handling these superstar players, because it's not easy to, because they also need management, and they also need someone to tell them this is not good enough. You got to do this. This type of behavior is not going to be tolerated. I don't care who you are. I think that's the type of person that Robin is, and that's what he's good at. And then they have Neo, who's obviously a great player himself. He has done so much. So in game, I think he is good for them. But I would like to see someone other than Carrigan having to take this responsibility. Maybe Neo could.
But it's, I know what you mean. If you ever watch those documentaries, you would almost think Carrigan was the coach, not Neo. Like, Neo just tends to be sat in the rooms watching them, whereas I know what you mean. I sometimes want him to come in and have like a big speech or something, you know.
I think it would help the team a lot, and it would help Kerrigan a lot. I know that Robin is there, but maybe he's not there full time. But the guys obviously need a full mental reset, because what I'm hearing is not constructive. It's not, this is what we need to do next time, and this is how we're going to win. It's mostly beating yourself down even more. And I hope to see a FaZe that we can cheer for soon and that we can be proud of, because I honestly think that FaZe is one of the coolest brands that we have in esports, and they make the space better. Having them in esports is going to bring in new viewers and new players to the game only by being FaZe.
For sure.
Because I know this myself. Even as an old player, I tend to be drawn to the storylines and the superstar players and the emotions and, the mentality of never giving up. And I really think that we need it, because we have a lot of boring teams and players too in the space that are not gonna enhance the experience.
I'm always just gonna have mad respect for Kerrigan for even getting eliminated at, I think it was Katowice 2024, and he just says that he still hopes that the tournament does well and brings in the viewership and sets new records. Yeah. It's just such a base thing to say. I mean, like, not even caring at the end of the day about the ultimate product, which in a way I feel like some people take it for granted. I mean, there are some people that just absolutely love the game. They would do it no matter what, and all the respect in the world to them. But I know that everybody that's on practically every top 5 team, including Donk, definitely doesn't dislike the fact that they get paid tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars while doing everything that they're doing. So, end of the day, and I mean, like, the reason that professional athletes have the salaries that they do are because the media rights are so lucrative, and that the sponsorships are bringing so much, and that there are so mmany eyeballs. So it's interestingly, actually, I talked to this is a bit of a tangent, but all in all, I mean, like, actually, it's so much of a tangent. Who cares? Whatever. I was actually having
name drop coming. Come on, hit me with it. Hit me with the name drop. Hit me with it.
Well, okay, I was actually eating with Papa Smith.
There you go. We knew that if you don't think he's the guy who runs FlyQuest. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I was eating with Papa Smithy and FlyQuest's GM the other day, and
then what's weird is Get Right walks in. He goes, "Maui Snake, I love your analysis, but that was separate to the story." Anyway, keep going.
Yeah, and their offices are in LA,
okay,
so like, yeah, it's just kind of a weird. It was just we just hung out and got some drinks and some food, and we like he brought up the fact that Counter-Strike he said it was the only esport that's just gaining viewership right now.
Oh, right.
It's the only one. Like, it's a crazy stat right now that the only esport, and people are kind of waiting for that next esport that's going to actually.
No, I can tell you, League of Legends, which obviously was the biggest for a long time, year on year, that's getting worse in most of the regions, which is obviously his main game. It goes down every year, basically.
Yeah, and so, I mean, I think Dota's been going down for a while now. I mean, Valorant
makes sense. Yeah,
I think that it's just like Valorant. There's too many games that are flavor of the monthy, and like, Fortnite obviously would have been one. Valorant,
Apex Legends, there's a whole bunch. Yeah, of course, PUBG, all that shit.
Just Overwatch in the past. It's just games that have a difficult barrier to entry, and then also if you go away from the game for 6 months and you come back to it, like I used to watch every single TI big S tier Dota event. Now I come back to the game and I just have no idea.
It's a lot harder to watch if you don't know the meta, for sure. Yeah.
Yes, and I'm hoping that it's explained to me in some way, but like I'm playing catch up so much that I just have kind of given up on watching it as an esport, and that's why I just kind of go back now to trad sports and Counter-Strike. It just makes things a lot easier for me, and I think that's kind of why CS has done so well. I feel like again, it's getting off topic from what you were saying about FaZe, but like, in a way, like we want, like, FaZe's lineage, like the history that FaZe brings and the history that a lot of the players bring will keep people invested into this game, even in a way that's greater than just oh, FaZe need to change their strats, because they do. Like, I think FaZe strategically need to revamp the way that they play a little bit. I would love to. I mean, getting into the details is something that I need to take a little bit more time to bring more rounded thoughts about why they're not doing so well. But I think that when you've got a team with Simple, Elige, Kerrigan, you've already got insane draw from just that name value. And
crazy lineup.
If you make it work, it will continue, as it was at Dallas, to be the most watched team. And in a sense, like, people are drawn to just big numbers and big teams like that. When people are browsing Twitch, they will just see people go, including myself, just to like live streams, highest view count. And when FaZe was playing, they were the most viewed stream on Twitch. And that, like, they're the most viewed thing that's going on the internet. You know, it's like, and if you're the biggest live stream on Twitch, with you know, China, not excluding China here, who have their own fucking platforms that I don't know anything about, you're basically, in the English speaking world, the biggest live stream. That is an insane claim to have, that no other team, even a Vitality team, well, Vitality can set records like in later stages of a tournament, but even a group stage opening game of that FaZe lineup will be the most watched live stream in the Western world. That's such a ridiculous feat that they've captured.
And I think that FaZe is, to me, is the only esports brand that can do this, like, consistently. They can bring the excitement to tournaments, and that's why my point is that it's a bad point that we need FaZe to come back, because we need a competitive FaZe in esports. It's gonna make esports better and bring more viewers, and just in general, it's gonna be a lot more fun. And I can remember that, you know, coming back to esports for me like 2 years ago, one of the things that really caught my interest was actually watching Tier 1 and watching teams like FaZe, and I'm like, I still love this game. And because of teams like FaZe, I'm not gonna like name drop any teams that I think are boring, but there are a lot of teams that wouldn't really keep me glued to the game like FaZe does, and I really hope that we get to see them, you know, compete in top fours going forward, maybe after the summer. I mean, we're gonna see some player changes, obviously, in the lineup, but we need them to get back to their form for sure.
No, if people don't know, I am Dallas. Obviously, it was a mixture of FaZe plus the Simple thing. The two highest rated matches were two of the group stage games. Basically, the one they didn't play against BC game, the one against Liquid that they lost, and the Heroic game they also lost. Those had higher peak viewers than the fucking final and the semis. But remember, the final was like an all-time great team winning another massive chat. That should be automatically the biggest one. And by the way, I'd even tie it to that. I think that's why also the current FaZe project is so exciting, because I think we need FaZe and we need Simple. Those are two people who automatically bring narratives, excitement. Because another thing you're getting to here, Valet, is even though in the game itself, for a professional player, I only expect you to try to win the game. If that means if you have a style, like if you remember a few years back when that Outsiders Virtus Pro team won that major, right? That was kind of whack because they played like an almost anti-CS, like super slow. Now, here's the thing. If you're a player, that's all you're expected to do. Try and win the game if you can. But there is a value in CS that you're basically getting to here that goes beyond whether you're the best team or not. Like, in fact, didn't really last year, that really proved why FaZe is necessary. Because there was plenty of times last year they weren't even close to the best. But it still gets you hyped if they're in the playoffs. If they're playing a top team, it gives you an extra excitement. Essentially, what I'm getting to, it's not just about winning the match by the rules. How you play it is very important too. Like, I've made this point in the past. One of the reasons I love to watch FaZe play is even if they lose the game and I'm pulling for them, it might be the best game I've ever seen. Like, the way they play forces the game to be what everyone wants CS to be. And by the way, I can tell you, FaZe Clan is easily the most popular team, not only with broadcast people because they want exciting matches, but with all the old school players. players, Valley. All the ones who are the 1.6 players, that's the team they fuck with. Because first of all, they've got the veterans, they've got the guys who are 30 but are still good. But also, they do exactly what I think CS is the best at, which is CS is the biggest game. Think of what we talked about in point one, where the difference between being really good in your bedroom and being really good on the stage of an arena is enormous. So that means if you are that player where you're not even in the group stage that good at the moment, maybe your form's up and down, but if you get to that semi-final, the other guy has to worry about you on the other side of the server. You're a veteran. You don't crumble under pressure. I think what people fucked with who are veterans is FaZe has that quality like you get in sports where even when you're not the top dog, it's like, yeah, but put us both in a pressure game and I'll hold my own, you know. I'll bring my side to the table. And as a result, I think another reason I agree with you that we need FaZe is if people ever watch CS2, I used to frame Virtus Pro, the Polish team with Neo and Tarzan, Snacks, I used to frame them the same way. One, they were also the most entertaining team to watch play. They had an amazing style. But I always thought the coolest thing was, even when they didn't win, and that team actually didn't used to be number one that often, what they meant was whoever is number one, though, is going to be fucking battle-tested, mate. They're going to have to actually beat that team to win their majors. So I always said with VP and CSGO, go look at all the great teams. They pretty much all had to, like, pass the Virtus Pro test. I want it to be like that with FaZe. I mean, if we just talked in an earlier point about the Aurora and the Mongols, mate, if there'd actually been a really good FaZe clan, that would have exposed those teams right there. If they were, like, better than you in the group stage, a Mongols tech team, but then a FaZe could, like, beat you in the arena, you'd know exactly what Mongols has to work on. And it's not that it was strategy, shooting people in the head. It would be like your nerve. How do you play when the big pressure moment comes? You have to make a decision. I agree. That's what they were the best at. So to me, I would say this. I think people get confused because in 2022, they were the best team. That's not what people love about FaZe. FaZe clan in CS is basically synonymous with entertaining big match. And isn't that what we all tune in for? It's exactly why we all watch the tournament. Because I do think that whole thing because I do think that is what died this year. The whole, like, they're clutch, even if they're playing bad, you know, if they sneak in the playoffs, still get it done somehow. Like, that's what we need back. We need a team like that. I'm with you. I do actually think that would be so important. And I also think, like I say, I think it adds to the value of the teams that eventually beat them, that you beat a team where you know they didn't go away easily and you had to battle them in the playoffs and they're not going to, like, roll over because you beat them on map one or something. I think we do need to. That's probably the biggest thing we're missing in the scene right now, I think. Yeah, it's a good point.
I think that back in the day, teams were more similar to FaZe.
Right.
Like the old 1.6 teams. I don't know. They feel like it's a lot more aura and confidence, and you know, they know that they're gonna be better when it comes to the stage, and that type of confidence is always gonna, you know, pull you in. Having the superstars and having the storylines and the way that they could play, you know, to turn matches around and momentum, all that excitement. You know, there are not many teams that are going to get you excited in that sense. And that's also like a hard thing to pull off, to actually have that type of energy in the games. It's more of a, like, old school rock and roll.
By the way, it's also pretty wild that Carrigan literally played against you, bro. He was playing against you and he still played. That's so crazy, isn't it?
That's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. You know, I have in my team, I have players that weren't born.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So that's crazy. You know, the today's pros were actually born after I ended my career.
Yeah,
so that shows you the longevity of CS, and, you know, the fact that we're probably gonna be here for a bit longer as well.
Yes.
Which is great, you know. Let's just enjoy it while it lasts.
No, I actually saw something like that the other day where I saw that Belarusian player called Tene from Heroic said, like, I used to, like, be a big fan of Markelov. And I looked it up, like, bro, you were 9 when he was good. What? Like, because when they say that, you feel like they're saying, like, a couple of years ago, you know, I used to watch his. It's like, yeah, when you were like literally like, the tanker truck goes first. Oh, did you get a 5K? Oh, awesome. Like, give me a break, mate. All right, yeah. You modeled your game, did you? I bet you did. You fucking whatever.
I played Markelov. I can see why Tenier would have liked him for sure.
Sure. See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, you know, be a pleb and don't.